Here I am again, sharing some notes from the studio with you. These pebbles were made with 6,000-year-old mudbrick plaster given to me by the archaeologist of Çatalhöyük back in 2007, when I was the artist in residence at the settlement. The plaster had been manipulated by the original inhabitants to build their houses. It is a standard procedure for the archaeologists, once all the records and photographs have been made of a level, to partially destroy it in order to reach lower all the levels. What you see on the screen is a series of figurines I made using the plaster on the floor. The settlement was covered in such plaster. I imagine anyone could have built a house using their skills and bare hands. And they did, actually, when they made the replicas for the archaeologists. I was obliged to destroy the figurines after photographing them and return the plaster to the ground due to government regulations. In these 4 photographs, you can see the interior of the experimental house in Çatalhöyük. The paintings on the walls were done by an archaeologist replicating the original work. Well, it was an interpretation. My hat, notes, and my materials are spread across the floor. That interior became my home for an entire month. On the night of the full moon, I was allowed to sleep on the floor of the unit. It was quite an experience. Back in my Peckham studio, I first tried placing the plaster inside small wooden frames, but it cracked as it dried. I then decided to make small circles and squares, using them as surfaces to further experiment with color. While I was in Çatalhöyük, Füsun Ertürk, an ethnobotanist, archaeologist and academic, allowed me to record a video of her discussing possible pigments used in prehistoric times. Here is a fragment.
The first thing I suggested to you is for the red source, madder.
Yeah, which I got the
roots. Yes, you now have some roots. Yeah. Those roots are a very strong source of madder, red. And pomegranate also gives that kind of dark colors.
Is there a particular time I can use the pomegranate, or all year round, as long as I have a pomegranate?
As long as you have fresh pomegranate. So all the
skin, just the skin.
Just the skin. Then you can try all kinds of green leaves, but
green leaves. Any green leaves?
Any green leaves, but you can try, for example, walnut greens.
Okay.
For example, and what else? Onions.
Onions as well. What color do I get from onions?
Yellowish. They usually make a brownish, coffee, limited amount of water, and then you can leave that substance to dry under the sun. So
that I get a sort of a body.
You can try the same with maybe walnut skins. You can make an experiment. If you boil them, see if you can get it.
See if I can get the substance, and then I dry it in the sun.
Yeah.
And then I crush it.
You can crush it, or maybe it becomes a little dusty.
And anything else besides walnut and pomegranate that you can think of?
Well, there are lots of other dye plants, but I don't know which ones are available around here, and which ones you can really use without boiling.
And this color that you saw in this painting, which is similar to the color that is there, over there, what would you say this red is, in your opinion? Can you recognize it? Does it feel familiar to you?
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah.
What would you say it is?
The same colors, very pale color of an old kilim, so that it reminds me madder.
Of the root.
Yeah.
Following her advice, I created a sort of laboratory in my studio and attempted to make pigment using her instructions. The intensity of the colors is remarkable, as you can see in the samples. I had a great time playing with these materials. Unfortunately, I ran out of plans very soon, and I had no idea where I could find equivalents in London. From the plaster, I moved into the canvas. Most of these images that you see on the screen were done with iron oxide that I brought from Istanbul. And some of these paintings no longer exist because I overworked them, as it often tends to be my worst enemy. And so you can see details, and in here this last picture, which is the main canvas, and some drawings.